Welcome to part 2 of my custom 3D printer build series. Today we'll work on 3D printing parts to build the frame of this brand new 3D printer. You can actually probably hear some of the parts printed in the background right now. I've already printed one batch, and now I'm printing the second batch of parts that I'm going to work on. So basically what I'm doing now is just building the basic frame of the printer, and then in the next part I'm going to start attaching my electronics, my linear rods, all of that stuff. So let me show you what I've come up with. So following my design, I have added this little frame which I'm working on right now. And in the design, I did not have, you just had the two bars, and then I realized that would be way too weak. So I've added this really thick piece of MDF board. Now I know I was downing one up for using MDF, and I wasn't downing them for using MDF. I was downing them for using too thin MDF. This is just so thin and so flexible. Also, this is a different mix of MDF. This might not even be MDF, actually. This might be some type of plastic. I'm not sure. Anyway, though, this stuff is nice and strong, so I'm going to be using that. This is just going to be sitting on there like that. But I need a way to attach this part and this part. Yes, I'm using this. This is going to be the only wooden part from the one-up that I'll have in this printer. I'm going to be attaching this to this board here. So I've 3D printed some of these little brackets right here to attach that. So this will just come and sit right there like that, and then I made them for M3 screws and nuts to go through. So let's go ahead and start off on doing that part by drilling some pilot holes in the main frame. So this will just lay down like that, and we can put a an M3 screw through there. So I have two of these little brackets to hold on the top part, and two of them to hold on the bottom. So as you can see, I just ran two M3 screws through each side to the bottom of each wood with some nuts, and that baby's not coming apart. So I'm pretty much done in the frame now. What I've done is I've taken the according ones and put them there, and here, and then added these rods. Now these rods, how those work is, well, first of all, I've also added these little feet on the bottom here. That's just pretty self-explanatory. So I just drilled a hole right next to these things to fit those in. I snapped them in there, then moved them up to line into the hole there, and then put in a quick M3 nut with a washer. Now before I did that, I also put on this. I shouldn't ever have to take these rods off again because the execution will pretty much just snap on to these bearings. That about sums it up for this video. I do have one more thing I want to add before closing out, and that's that right there. It is a mount to hold on the, where'd it go? Yeah, here it is. The Z-axis stepper motor right there. Pretty simple, just like I think 4 screws into the wood, and then all 4 screws into the stepper motor itself. All the parts in this build are made for M3 nuts and bolts, but they can easily be adapted to anything of your liking. This is a completely open source 3D printer. I'm going to be posting all the plans, all the everything I've done, all the files, just everything I've learned from doing this in these videos, and also on a Thingiverse page, which you can find in the description once it is out. But I actually won't be releasing that Thingiverse page until the entire build is finished, because if I want to go back and change something in 3D prints, I don't want to have to go tell the public community that, oops, sorry, this print was wrong, let me fix it. So anyway, I'm going to wait till I know that everything is correct, and then release for you guys to build your own from your one-ups if you so choose. Also, I thought that I would need some type of stabilizer here to keep this bar nice and sturdy, but it turns out I didn't, because there's enough pressure against, let me show you that there, there's enough pressure against this piece to keep it locked in that hole, because I just drilled a hole in there. Plenty of pressure against this to keep that sturdy. But just in case, if anyone who is building this printer has trouble with that, I've designed this part, which is a Z linear rod stabilizer, which will go coincidentally on the Z-rod. So it essentially you'd slip the rod through and then just screw it into there next to this bracket. If you're having any trouble with it, it is a nice tight friction fit. You won't be able to snap it on, obviously, because that's too small of a hole, but you can slide it in and it will be nice and tight and hold it in place. But it wasn't necessary for my particular printer simply because it was already so tight to begin with. But if you are having trouble with that, this file will be available in the Thingiverse page. So this is essentially how the mount will work without the screws in, obviously. I haven't put the screws in yet, but essentially this piece just slides on over. Slides onto here, and then there's screws on the back. The screws go in here into the wood on the back, and then some screws through there onto the bottom one as well. Very secure. Let's go ahead and put the screws in. Alright, so this is what we have now that I put in the screws. It's a very, very sturdy mount if I just do so myself. That thing is not going anywhere. So as I said before, you have one screw holding it in there. And on the back, you have 2 screws holding it in right there. There's a little bit of flex in the piece, which is good. I'm printing all these pieces in PLA. If you have ABS or PETG, please print it in those. It's much better to have sturdy than PLA, but I'm really just doing this to show people that it can be printed in PLA, so don't worry. If you only have PLA, it will still stand up just fine. But again, if you do have ABS or PETG, I would highly suggest using that instead. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. In the next video, I'm hoping to do either the X gantry or the Y bed. Not too sure which one I'm going to do first, but one of those will be coming in the next video. I'm Josiah. Thank you for watching.